friendship is a relationship between friends. And the relationship means the state of being connected. The objective of this message to us will help us to understand that there are Christians who are connected to Jesus, and there are Christians who are not connected. When we talk about connection, we are talking about the relationship, living relationship between man and his creator. The relationship that exists between God and his people is maintained through obedience to his word. In John chapter 15, verses 14 and 15, it says, "Ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you." So when we talk about the relationship between us and God, it can only be maintained, sustained by our obedience to what he said we should do. In my own version, that verse 14 can read, "You are connected to me if you do whatsoever I tell you." In other words, you are disconnected. You have no place in me if you are disobedient to everything I said. Look at verse 4. It says, "Abide in me and I in you, as the plant cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can you, except it abide in me. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full." Show me a Christian who is connected to the Master Jesus. I will show you somebody whose the joy of salvation is still activated. There are many Christians who don't have joy. That joy. You remember when you repented, there was a joy in that. Whenever you remember that you are not born again, there is that joy. You need to ask yourself now. Your own joy, is it still there? What are the benefits of being a friend? John 11:35 and 36. Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, "Behold, he loved him." Behold, he loved him. Jesus cares for his friends. This person that Jesus cried for in verse 35 was his friend. Verse 6 said, "Therefore his sister said unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick." And before he could come in verse 35, he had died. And because the master cared, he began to weep. People were there, he was weeping them public just because of the person he loved. Just help me say your name, Jesus cares for me. It doesn't matter what people are saying, as long as you are connected for this. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, that's what Apostle Paul discovered. When he wanted to complain of this or this or that and this and that, and he said, "Shh, my grace is sufficient." So an affliction was a thorn on his flesh. God used him mightily. And God allowed that. So in order to remind him that he was still a human being, so that he cannot be over-celebrated. And when he came to God in prayer, God said, "Keep quiet, my grace is sufficient." What you've got to do is to get connected. Maintain that connection with Jesus. Maintain it. Maintain it. Don't allow that man, don't allow that woman to make you to shift from connecting. It doesn't matter what your ear hears. It doesn't matter what your eyes see. Please, if you can remain connected, leave the man of Jesus. Leave it for him. In my little walk with him, I have understood very well that Jehovah can close down a nation, not for the sake of the person he loves. afraid because of what people are saying? Why will you be afraid? Because of what you need to get and you don't have it. Why will you kill yourself for a peanut? Why will you drop a Bible just because you think someone else is better than you? Just get connected. Somebody help me tell somebody, get connected. If you can maintain connection, I am not talking about the hypocritical Christians. I am talking about the sincere Christians. God, because of His love upon you, can give command even when you are not aware. He can give command on your behalf. There are too many battles God is fighting for His people that they are not aware. And I know in eternity, He will allow God to see it. In eternity, He will show you, look at that person came after you. If you are not aware that I fought the battle. Verse 39, He said, and Jesus said, take ye away the stone. Jesus gave a command on behalf of the one He loved. Lazarus was not aware at this point what was happening. But a command was issued on his behalf just because he was connected to the Master. Being connected has nothing to do with your nomenclature, your status. It has to do with what we serve and children. In verse 44, he said, and he that was dead came forth and bound hand and feet with great cloth, and this face, and his face was bound about with a napkin. And Jesus said unto them, loose him. Listen, when the one that loves you issues a command, no voice can say that. There is a hand that the hand of man cannot stop. There is a voice that the voice of man cannot silence. Psalm 05, verse 13. He said, when they were going from nation to nation, and someone no man could do them down. He didn't permit any person. He didn't permit any demon. And in verse 15 said, he ushered a command, saying, touch not my anointing and do my prophets. Just because of his love, the benefit of friendship with Jesus. If you don't disappoint him, he will not disappoint you. Our trouble is because we are disappointing ourselves. Search yourself. You discover that there are certain things you didn't do the way they ought to be done. No matter how bad his friend's situations are, he will always identify with them. He will always come through. Praise God. Verse 39 said that Lazarus had died. In fact, when he issued an instruction for them to roll away the stone, the master said, Master, he would be spared now. The master, because of us, it doesn't matter. Just bring up the stone. Or bring out John, you can see John, George, you know what? As long as we are connected. Listen, be that what you cannot on his back. Just get connected. Praise God. Never be said I will be the same. From the moment Jesus met me, new life in me, God, oh, the